Why do languages matter in our increasingly globalized world? Today, we delve into the fascinating journey of how some of the world's most spoken languages have spread across the globe, shaping global communication. Picture a time, centuries ago, when the world was not as interconnected as it is today. The dominant languages were those of the most powerful empires of the time. Latin, the language of the Romans, spread far and wide, laying the groundwork for many of the languages we speak today. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, and we find the rise of French, the language of diplomacy. French spread across Europe through the influence of the Normans and later, the prestige of the French court. The spread of many languages, including French, would later be propelled by a darker force: colonialism. Grand empires, seizing territories through conquest or trade, would impose their languages on the indigenous populations. Thus, French found its way to West Africa, the Caribbean, and parts of Asia. Even today, French remains an official language in many international organizations. Meanwhile, in the Iberian Peninsula, Spanish and Portuguese were taking shape. With the age of exploration, the colonial reach of Spain and Portugal brought these languages to the Americas, Africa, and Asia. Spanish, with its over 400 million native speakers, is now the second most spoken language in the world, its presence a testimony to the vast swaths of land once under Spanish rule. Portuguese, though not as widespread, has left its mark on 4 continents and is the 6th most spoken language globally. The maritime voyages of Portugal installed Portuguese in places as diverse as Brazil and Angola. Across the Mediterranean, Arabic was spreading, carried by traders, scholars, and conquering forces. Arab conquests from the 7th century onwards spread Arabic from Spain and North Africa in the west to Central Asia in the east. Today, Arabic unites a diverse region stretching from Morocco to Oman and is the 5th most spoken language worldwide. And then there's English, a language of a small island nation that would go on to have a global impact like no other. The spread of English began with British colonialism. English was exported to North America, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, spread by settlers, soldiers, and administrators. This continued with the rise of the United States as a global superpower. Today, English is the lingua franca of the world, the language of international business, science, and pop culture. However, it's worth noting that some languages with a large number of speakers are not as internationally widespread. Mandarin, for instance, has the most native speakers in the world, but its use is largely confined to China. Similarly, Hindi, despite being spoken by hundreds of millions in India, has not gained the same international traction. So, what have we learned? We've seen how the spread of languages is closely tied to historical, political, and cultural forces, notably colonization. We've discovered that English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Arabic have become integral to global communication, thanks to their widespread use and international recognition. However, it's important to remember that the global language landscape is ever-changing. Who knows what the future holds? Perhaps Mandarin or Hindi will one day play a larger role on the world stage. In the end, the importance of languages in global communication cannot be overstated. They are not just tools for communication, but also powerful symbols of our shared human history and cultural diversity. So, whether you're a polyglot or a language enthusiast, remember, every language you speak is a world you inhabit, and every word you learn is a step towards understanding that world.